Hey, welcome back, everyone, to another episode of East Got Game, where we give you the X's, the O's, and the insights of the NBL One East. Thanks for joining us tonight live on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. And remember, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Instagram and Facebook at East Got Game. Or you can also continue to find our episodes on your preferred streaming platforms. On this week's episode, we'll be covering our East Got Game of the Week between the Norse Bears and the Manly Warringah Seagulls in the women's competition. We'll also be covering the headlines of the round, and we'll have a very special interview with our very special guest in about an hour's or so time. But Lockie, let's do a quick check-in. How are you feeling after this round?
Look, Squint, I got to be honest, still recovering from calling Bawali Bales and Maddie Norris on Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, tell me a little bit more about that.
So in the men's side, it was the rematch, Sutherland and Comets, a lot of friendly banter. The word reinforcements, I've never seen it so many times on my Instagram feed in 1 week. And Comets got up in overtime. Farewell game for Bawali Bales before he goes off to Summer League with the Knicks. Just got it. And it nearly went to double overtime as well. So that was massive. Bawali had a 40-piece. He had some clutch baskets down the stretch. It was a massive game. Comets missing Dave O'Hickey, Sutherland missing Jason Spurgeon. One player on either side missing, but you can only put out who you've got and only take on who's in front of you. So great game. And maybe round 3 in the finals, because that would be extra special. And then on the women's side, Maddie Norris, 50-piece. Just absolutely lighting it up. I think the, return of Lauren Nicholson just freed up so much pressure that was on some of these Sutherland players, and just, the attention that Lauren commands just allowed other players to just go absolutely off. And Maddie Norris took full advantage, burying threes for fun. I mean, some of those threes look like things she puts up on Tuesday night down at Sutherland Basketball Stadium in the local Super League. It was magical to watch, especially, Maddie is the reason I'm at Sutherland. She was the first person at Sutherland to ask me if I wanted to do work for the club. So, couldn't be happy to have been able to call Maddie putting up 50. And that's why we got the jersey.
Very nice. Very lovely, lovely full circle moment for you on the weekend. And, as you mentioned, Bales is off to the Summer League with the Knicks. And for those that don't know, tell us about where Jason Spurgeon is at the moment.
So Jason Spurgeon is over with the NBL Select team that's playing over in Japan. So I didn't get a whole lot of playing time first up, but I mean, it's still a great experience. I haven't checked any of the other games, but I was discussing it with Coach Sean Roger, because I'd actually completely forgotten that the NBL Select Tour was on right at the moment. I knew he was in it. I just didn't know when it was on. Probably should have clicked for me. But so he's over there. So no injury worries or anything. As soon as that's over, he'll be back.
Very good. I did like how they announced that select team, and they said, featuring emerging talent of the NBL. And then at point guard, Mitch Norton.
You gotta have, it's like when you have garbage time and you throw on all your benchies, you still gotta have one senior player there around to make sure things sort of work.
Yeah, you gotta make sure there's one adult telling the kids to go to bed on time.
Yeah, pretty much.
So that sounds like a pretty fun weekend for you calling those games. And there was a lot of exciting games throughout this round. Take us through some of the headlines.
More than happy to. So on the men's side, I mean, can't really go past the fact that the top 4 have completely broken away. The top 4 saw, and the battle for 5th and 8th just keeps intensifying, because if anyone saw my Instagram on the weekend, I ran a whole bunch of simulations of the remainder of the season. And in 96.8% of the time, it winds up that the top 4 in some order are Canberra, COE, Illawarra, and Comets. So I think it's pretty safe to say that they're going to be the top 4. And as for 5th through 8th, well, we are no closer to deciding anything, particularly with Sutherland losing both games on the weekend by 2 points and then overtime. That's, and now they're slid straight back in the pack with everyone else almost. I mean, you've got Manly right there at 8 and 7 now. Crew are 8 and 8. North are right there. Maitland, Bankstown, and Newcastle not far behind. All these teams on 7 or 8 wins. They're just so close. And I mean, Central Coast, they could decide this whole thing. They play Maitland, North, Newcastle, and Bankstown. They could win all 4 of those and go to 12 wins. They could lose all 4 of them and give 4 teams a win, or any combination in between. So massive run home for Crew, particularly after their big weekend, picking up more vital wins. And I mean, where else would you rather be than in the East at the moment, watching this men's competition unfold? Because, I mean, second chance in finals, but you'd love to get that home game in week 1.
Yeah, I was there for the Central Coast Crusaders home game against your Sharkies. And I mean, if I was ever going to go home to watch a game, it was that one. It was incredible. The Crusaders defense was outstanding. Young Hayden Gunderson was tasked with having to guard Kawat Noi. Now, that was very much on paper a David versus Goliath battle. Gunderson is still an emerging talent in the NBL1 roster. He spent some time playing high school in the US a little bit. I think he played maybe 1 year of college or community college before he came back. And he's, just your typical kind of skinny white dude from the Central Coast that loves to ball. And he's going up against Kawat Noi. But he did so well. Like, he had Kawat Noi locked down on a lot of possessions. Just the way that Gunderson was able to use his length and his anticipation to really limit what Noi could do on the penetration was so impressive. And talking to Coach Miko after the game, he said that they knew they were going to put Gundo in the starting 5 for that game well ahead of time with the task of guarding Noi. But they didn't tell Gundo he was in the starting 5 until game day to help prevent any anticipatory anxiety leading up to the weekend. So he's just kind of thrown in and he got the job done. It was really, really good. And Washington with the kind of the 2 turnovers in the end and made up for it with the bank to win the game. Like, he couldn't write a better script. It was very exciting and very entertaining.
But so you were at home, but it was a big day for you, a big weekend for you at home. Spill the beans of why you went home, because I think it deserves to be. Yeah, part of the reason why I went back to the Central Coast was because my mum received a life membership with Central Coast Basketball on Saturday. So that round was life members round at the club, and my mum and Ed Forcadia, father of Liam, Jasmine, Paris, Gabe, and Venus Forcadia, was also inducted as a life member of the basketball club. And it was somewhat serendipitous that the 2 of them were inducted together, because when Ed and the Forcadias first joined the club many years ago, my mum was already on the board, and Ed very quickly became part of the basketball community and joined the board. And my mum and Ed worked together really, really well and always had that high level of respect for each other and worked well together. So it was really nice that they were inducted together. And as part of the celebrations, the stadium kind of lets you have access to a corporate, like the courtside box, and you get some nibbles and some drink vouchers. And I kind of thought that we were going to have a box to ourselves, which perhaps we could have, but Ed really celebrated in style, and he booked like the whole side of the other court just for him and his family, because he has a really they have a big family, very supportive family, and obviously very popular and well known in the club. So there's a lot of close friends that attended as well. So he had like a whole half of the court to celebrate too, which was really, really cool, because like lots of numbers came out to help everyone celebrate the new life members. Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
It's definitely something that everyone should know happened.
Yes, definitely worthy of a headline of the round.
Yes.
Yeah. And what about the women's competition? You already mentioned that Maddie Norris dropped 50 points. But have the Sharks left themselves too much to do in a short period of time, Lockie?
Well, it may not be up to them. They can get to 10-10. They play Newcastle and Albury-Wodonga this weekend, then Illawarra and Inner West to finish things off. They came out and beat Comets by 50, so they're definitely in form, and couldn't be a better time to take on two title challenges than when you've just come off a 50-point win. But I do think they're going to have to win all four and then have some results fall their way. Even at 10-10, maybe. We'll see how the tie-break pans out. They do own some tie-breaks, and of course getting a 50-point win against Comets helps you in any three-way tie-breaks that you're going to have, including Comets. But it's going to be... things just got very interesting in the women's comp because their top four or top five even is miles ahead. I think there's it's almost certain that the top four is going to be Manly, North, Newcastle, Albury-Wodonga, probably in that order. Centre of Excellence may have something to say. But yes, Sutherland hitting form at the perfect time. But as I said, they've got Canberra 8-8 and play three teams around them. Maitland are 7-8, Bankstown 7-8, Comets 7-8, and they play Canberra. So one of them's got to win another game. Maitland play Crew, Bankstown play Penrith. See, there's some games here you're just like, they should probably get those. They're going to stay one win ahead. But I don't think there's you can see the Sharks winning anywhere from, like I said, with Central Coast. It could be 0, it could be 4. I would back the Sharkies to at least get to 8 wins, but this weekend, if they don't get at least one win this weekend, then the next 2 games won't even matter. So it's going to be a massive game, 2 massive games. They go to Newcastle and then come home and play Albury. So they've got a little bit of a road trip of their own. So very, very exciting times at the Shark Tank.
That's a tough double header as well. Newcastle away and then Albury-Wodonga the next day.
Yeah, definitely. Sutherland have got a longer trip back after their Saturday game to get to Sutherland than Albury-Wodonga do, because Albury-Wodonga play Illawarra on the Saturday.
Yeah, wow. And I'm really looking forward to the matchup between Katie Jones and Loz Nicholson on the Sunday.
So am I. Definitely looking... Well, everyone knows I love Katie as well. So, yes, definitely very much looking forward to calling that. And just watching how teams play Sutherland now in general, now that Lauren's there, and what Sutherland do with their rotations. Because Eliza Fabro was out this past weekend, but she'll hopefully be back, which then throws another wrinkle into things.
Yeah, it certainly does. And I think the only other kind of headline that we can mention regarding the women's competition of sorts in the NBL 1 East came out earlier today, and that's to do with the Future Flames squad announcement for 2025. So this is a program with the WNBL team, the Sydney Flames, spearheaded by Renee Garlop, who is the assistant coach of the Sydney Flames and the program director for the Future Flames, and also the Norths women's head coach. So the Future Flames program is a 10-week program each Thursday night from July 10th at Hoops Capital East. And I think it's trying to introduce players who are playing youth league or essentially young players playing in NBL 1, a taste of the professional life and what it takes to get to that next level. And I mean, the likes of Caitlin Martin and Carla Pittman were part of this program, and also Piper Anderson from the Sydney Comets. And it helped earn them a spot as development players for the Sydney Flames. And now Pittman is on the roster, like as a regular rostered player. So it's certainly a really good pathway to harness all of the local talent. to show them what it's like being a pro and to give them a bit more of a more sound and fairer opportunity to become a pro. So we need to say congratulations to the players from Manly who has made this squad. And that includes Zoe Miller, Sari Mowbray, Alana Reddy, who's currently at college in the US, Chloe Dix, and Brie Delaney was an interesting addition to the list, given that she hasn't played this season. But, like, hats off to her. I mean, you'd be kind of silly not to include her, to be honest. And from Norse, we've got Caitlin Martin and Peggy Shell returning to the program. Emma Donnelly, Izzy Morgan, fresh off her college career, is in the program, and Maddie Aldemida as well. From Illawarra, we have Ella Dent, Ruby McDonald, Audra Passer-Carnus. Hopefully, I don't think I said that right. Who's also over at Drury University in the US, and Imogen Thompson from Illawarra. Piper Anderson's back, Alex Kayroos is back, and Alex Oliver joins the squad. All from Sydney Comets. Hills Hornets will have Ella Gale and Ella Luasuasu representing them. And from Hornsby, we have Dayla Walker and Nicole Hutchins, as well as Blacktown's Nikoth Day, who I'm guessing is playing Youth League.
Yes.
Newcastle's Sophie Brennan and Sutherland's Geordie Dewhurst and Bankstown's Kiana Davis-White, who just celebrated her 50th NBL 1 game.
That's a pretty good list of players.
That's a great list of players. And I'm not sure if age comes into it or either, because I noticed that I think Emily Garland from Sutherland was part of the squad last year and isn't this year. It also may just be player availability, whether they try it out or not, because they did have trials. I noticed that Jolene Imprezzo, that's currently paying for Penrith, she also went to trial. Holly Wills is someone that I was surprised wasn't on the list too, but perhaps there was also availability. And someone I'd love to see have a crack at this program is Josie Bullman.
Yeah. That's a really good shout. I like that. I mean, yeah. No, yes, very much so.
Yes, I might have to get on the blower. Hey, Josie.
Yeah.
Hopefully she'll have a crack next time. But yeah, so yeah, congratulations to everyone. I mean, great NBL 1 East representation with that pathway. Very exciting. Very, very exciting. Okay, so have you got any other news or headlines from the round before we get into our East Got Game of the week?
No, I think that's just about everything to talk about before we get into what was a great game of the week. It was not even our first choice, but it turned out to be a good one to watch.
It was a very good one to watch, this East Got Game of the week. After we just rattled off all the talent from the women's program of Manly and North, it was North versus Manly at the Bear Cave. And my first impressions of this game was, wow, North have either got really good lighting or really good cameras. And then I realized it was actually also the KO game of the week. So that makes sense as to why the production value was a little bit higher.
Yes. You start watching and then they go to like a zoom shot and you're like, oh wait, yeah, this is the KO game.
Yeah, that's right. And I'm like, wow, they're zooming. They've got multiple camera angles. And I was like, oh, it's the KO game. That's why. Makes such a difference.
Yeah.
Makes such a massive difference.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this was, I mean, even from our preview episodes before the season started, this game was already high on the list. Now, like you said, our initial pick was Newcastle Manly, but for some reason only the condensed game is available online. Is that right?
That's what I went to watch it this afternoon and it came up condensed game and I couldn't find the full game anywhere. So quick pivot.
Oh, that's okay. And not a bad pivot either.
No.
It's interesting when we're going to look for games to review online. Like, I just wish that the videos had a better way of being organized. Like, even when you go to like on the NBL 1 website, if you go to clubs, Like, I would love it if you go to clubs and then it's like, here's all the players, here's the rosters, here's the stats, and here's all their videos, just so you can find things.
Yeah, so it just filters to only the videos of that club. Yes.
Yeah, that's what I would like. But yeah, I don't have. I have some notes for this game as very general notes because they were pretty repetitive themes or things that I noticed throughout the whole game. From the top, though, it was a very fast-paced game, very well-organized game, and I think a game of quite high IQ, which are all things that I was personally expecting going into it. What were your first impressions, Lockie?
I mean, it harks back to high IQ and great players. I thought the defensive discipline was really good in the very, very early minutes. Players staying in front, staying straight up. If they were getting beat half a step, they would drop back rather than riding a player's hip and giving up a cheap foul. And I mean, it was a fairly low-scoring first quarter by the standards of the rest of the game at 17-14. And I think the defense, especially in the very early stages, made it difficult for both offenses to really kind of set the tone at either end. And I guess when you look at some of the players, I mean, both starting and on the bench, and just the mentality that both these teams have is that they pride themselves on being great two-way teams. There's no you score 100, we'll score 101. There is we're going to lock you down and we're going to score pretty well as well. I mean, you've got Annie Henderson, who Manly fans will say has been robbed of depoy for 100 years in a row. You've got Izzy Morgan, who unfortunately only played the first quarter, but she's a defensive weapon. Every player, there's no player out there on either team that will take a rest on defense, and nor they wouldn't be on the roster if they did.
Yeah, that's right. And I think one of the other overall impressions that I liked from this game was the starting five from each team. So seeing Izzy Morgan straight into the starting lineup, Peggy Shell getting a call up to be in the starting lineup for Norths. Also for Manly, it was great to see Sari Mowbray in the starting lineup too. I guess given the absence of both Delaney's on this occasion. But Sari didn't look too phased.
No, I mean, it feels like Alex Delaney has been out of the country for half the season. So Sari's well and truly entrenched in there at the moment. I mean, Sari's been a part of this program for so long that she's just pretty much plug and play at this stage. And I mean, they ran some sets for her in the early stages. They really looked like they were trying to get her open on the left wing a couple of times early on. And then she had that corner three and they sort of just changed it a bit. I think it was, I know I wrote it down, but there was one corner three she had and she just buried it. And then it was away we go after that. And I think it was the only three Manly actually hit. Might have been the only three Manly hit in the first quarter.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, it did take them a while to kind of get to try and find that reach, actually. Well, I should say range, not reach. Sorry, can you just hold on a sec?
Yes.
Give me 2 seconds. Actually, you keep going with, because we're live. Can you just keep going with your game review solo for a sec?
Yes. Okay. Okay, this is kind of interesting. So Sari had that corner three, which after a couple of early open wing threes that she missed, that would, I think, really set them on their way. But North, they ran this little...
Wait, I'm really, really sorry, Locke.
Mm-hmm.
I've got my days mixed up. I'm supposed to be commentating FIBA right now.
Oh, no.
So are you able? We can either log off or you can go solo.
I think we'll reconvene.
Okay, I'm really, really sorry. This is really bad. We'll reconvene.
Okay.
I have to text someone as well.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Peace.